Hey, what's up? This is PJ Jacobson. Make sure you watch MotoAmerica on YouTube and you like and subscribe.
You're locked into the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. The round, Dynapack MotoAmerica Superbikes at Ridge Motorsports Park. As we get ready for SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup from right here in Shelton, Washington at a track we affectionately call the Ridge. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time world champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, this racing has been extremely tight. We've talked about it, but yesterday we thought we had a checkout. We thought we had a large margin of victory, but no, in the end, 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, a close finish once again. If there's a track, I think, on our schedule where we could see somebody run away, it would be here. Our pole sitter, Gus Rodeo, tried to run away with the first race at Road America, if you remember, and he was going to try to do the same thing here as he makes a pass under points leader Cody Wyman early in this race, Greg. You could see he started to pull away, almost 2.5-second lead at one point. Lamandri Jr., Yakov, and Cody Wyman kept chasing, and at the end, Lamandri Jr. gets close, but not quite close enough. Gus Rodeo gets his first win of the year.
And what does it do for the points? Well, Cody Wyman actually finishes fourth in that. Gus Rodeo was second. So these are the points coming into race number one. Keep an eye on the points, the 99 and 82. Cody Wyman stays in this position, but all of a sudden, just like that, Gus Rodeo has closed the gap, and so has Lamandri Jr. So here's the starting grid with Gus Rodeo on pole, 153.572, got it done. Yakov and Wyman on the front row.
Then we got Max Van, Aiden Thau, and Chase Black. They're on row number 2 with Lamandri Jr. looking to get forward quicker today, I think, Greg. Dreyer, Levy Batty, Medina, Marinello, and Rivera. And then we have Cressup, Enriquez, Williams, and Crease Elliott.
Bikes forming up the grid as we are set for a 10-lap event from the Ridge Motorsports Park. Race number 2, SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, and we saw quite a race yesterday. What is going to happen today?
Could believe how many riders almost looped out on the grid yesterday. There was like 2 or 3 guys, so hopefully they don't do that again. Yes, exactly.
All right, the grid's formed up. We're ready to get racing. Race number 2 of SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Upper left-hand part of your screen when that light goes out. Oh, Gus Rodeo has a huge problem. He jumped the start and
something weird, like his clutch started to engage and started to move forward without him actually wanting it to. I'm not sure how race officials are going to treat that one, G-Dub, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Kayla Yakov does get the whole shot, though, and it looks like Gus still trying to play with that clutch and see what's going on with it. But obviously, he went a little bit early there. It looks like Cody Wyman has slotted himself into 3rd. Can't tell if it's Max Van. It's probably Max Van in 4th, I think, because Lamandri Jr.'s, right behind him.
So we'll get word once race control has a look at it. But nonetheless, it's newly 15-year-old Kayla Yakov. Her birthday was on Friday. This is where she made her debut in MotoAmerica. Look at that, Jason.
Something
what do you
weird.
think?
Yeah, look, honestly, I don't even know. That's a strange one there. And he's still messing with it. The bike started going, I think, Greg, without him even hoping it was going to go. Sometimes what you'll do is you'll just let the clutch out enough just to kind of feel where that pole's going to start. And it looked like he had done that, but then the bike wanted to just keep rolling forward. So Kayla this morning, Greg, was, I think, almost 4/10 quicker than anybody. We heard her complaining a little bit yesterday, or talking a little bit about some rear grip issues and things as Gus Rodeo has a look up underneath her. Everybody on the grid's going to know that something's going to happen for Gus here, and as far as some sort of penalty, I would think. And so, but for Kayla, it's up to her right now to try to keep her head down. Hopefully they found something this morning, because like I said in warm-up, she was quite a bit quicker than everybody else. And she's going to just try to get away.
Kayla Yakov looking for a race win. Plenty of podiums for the 15-year-old. Sitting 5th in the points. Has had some brilliant runs at it, and this field knows that one of Yakov's biggest strengths, without question, is braking, especially downhill braking, which we've seen at Road Atlanta and Road America alike. Not much of that here at the Ridge Motorsports Park, as this race really starting to form up. The front 2 slowly getting away. So we have Yakov out front, and we're looking at the 96 of Gus Rodeo. What's interesting, Jason, is looking at our timing and scoring. Gus Rodeo is listed actually as being in 16th place.
So they've given him a time penalty is what I would think there. So they've given him maybe a 5-second time penalty or something like this, Greg. So we'll have to just keep an eye on him on that screen.
Let's welcome in third member of our broadcast team, Hannah Lopa. Hannah, welcome to the broadcast. What do you know about the 96?
Greg, talking to Gus this morning, he said, you know, yesterday he wheelied really hard on the start. It created so much more work for him out front. He was really hoping to get a better start today. Obviously, that was not to be. So he's definitely going to have to try and gap the field like he did yesterday if he's going to make up for that time penalty that he just received.
Yeah, that's going to be really difficult. So he's come back on our screen as Gus Rodeo in second place. So
you can see, though, Greg, like even if he falls back to fifth, maybe there's already a gap being created there, and if it is a 5-second penalty, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He needs to get to the front and try to pull away.
Fastest lap of the race so far, Joe Lamandri Jr. So Bazooka Joe in fifth place, a 1:57.1. Now moved up into fourth is Bazooka Joe, right behind the 34 of Wyman. So it is Rodeo Racing, Warhorse HSBK Racing's Gus Rodeo in second, Kayla Yakov on that Altus Motorsports Racing Kawasaki, and on the SportbikeTrackGear.com supported Ninja 400, Joe Lamandri out of Garden City, New York, moves himself up into fourth, just ahead of Alpha Omega's Cody Wyman.
So Kayla and the guy and everybody behind her are going to know and see. Their pit crews are probably letting them know what position they're in and what their distance is between her and the rest. So they're going to know that they can't let Gus Rodeo get maybe more than 5 seconds out. So if that is indeed the time penalty, we're checking on that right now. So we know that there's a jump start for him and bike number 88, which is Joe Marinello. Joe right now is being listed in 11th, GW.
Yeah, so we definitely know from our timing and scoring screens that 88 and 96 do have jump start penalties. The assessment, we wait to find out. But we can tell you that Joe Lamandri Jr. just goes 1:53.687 last time by the stripe. At the moment, Gus Rodeo is listed in 7th place because it looks like, Jason, I would say it's a 5-second.
2 or 3, yeah, maybe a 5-second. It's hard to see. So we're just kind of waiting confirmation on that. But yeah, he's 4.6 back as he came across the line. So yeah, it would be a 5-second penalty. So Gus is out front, but he's got 5 seconds. So even if he was to do what he's doing right now and continue to pull away, worst case is he'll probably end up getting 5th. Look at Kayla, she's trying to look for a way by. But keep in mind, Greg, yesterday we saw Lamandri Jr. on his final lap of the race.
Oh,
he looks
Bazooka Joe.
He's trying to move Kayla out of the way. Wasn't quite close enough to do that. But he ran a mid-53 yesterday on his final lap. So he knew he had that time in his back pocket coming into today. So he wants to try to get to the front, get by Kayla, and then keep right up behind Gus.
So as you look at the upper left part of your screen, next time by the stripe, we should see a reset in that. So Gus Rodeo on your screen, you can clearly see that the 96 is leading this race. However, a 5-second penalty has been added to his total race time for jump start penalty, as you saw at the beginning of this race. So when Rodeo comes across the stripe, we can give you a better idea where he is. So the virtual leader on this track is Kayla Yakov, and a 54.2. So Yakov, you can see Rodeo on the left part of your screen go down the list. So Yakov, Lamandri, Wyman, Max Van, Chase Black, Avery Dreyer, and Gus Rodeo as they would finish. This is where things get a little bit confusing. And the other thing, Jason, is there's a lot of young riders in this field. So has this situation ever happened to Kayla Yakov? I'm sure Cody Wyman's been through it at a time or two. But what about Bazooka Joe Lamandri? So the information coming from the pit board to give him an idea of what's going on. Nonetheless, Kayla Yakov wants to just win it straight up no matter what on the racetrack, and she goes for the lead.
She had a great run out of turn 4, and I was kind of expecting that, to be honest with you. She closed that gap going into turn 1 and 2 here. Now she's going to put her head down. But Lamandri Jr. can get in there as well. He's going to do whatever he can to get by Gus Rodeo. Look for something to happen when they get to turn 11. Lamandri Jr. was fast through this section last lap. He did try to go around up the inside there of Kayla, and now he'll probably try to do the same thing with Gus here and kind of surprise attack him. As you can see, Lamandri Jr. is down the, nope, he's not going to be able to quite make it. Hannah?
Well, Joe is still feeling under the weather from an upper respiratory infection, so it's definitely not making things any easier. But he said he thinks he has faster pace today. He said he's going to be more aggressive at the start. Yesterday he was patient, tried to make some more moves toward the end, but if he wants to get that win, he's going to have to, you know, stick in the battle early on here as these laps wind down, and we'll see what he's got left in the tank.
Cody Wyman's not having any of it as he moves himself around Bazooka Joe into third spot. Now, Jason Cody, he's been around a while. He understands the situation. He's thinking championship.
No.
And now, unfortunately, too much for the 34.
And you can see, Greg, he's in another suit than he was in yesterday. He ran Twins Cup race just before this, so he's going back to back, doing double duty. And as soon as you started to talk about the fact that he knows what's going on in this championship, boy, that's a pretty quick remount for Cody Wyman. He knows how important these points are. Lamandri Jr. looks like he just had to check up a little bit once Cody did that. Now Yakov has got a nice gap at the front. 53.592, fastest lap of the race for Yakov that last time by. And the guy behind her, like you say, G-Dub, he just moved up into fourth, if you want to look at it that way, because with that 5-second penalty, Gus Rodeo will be fourth place now. And you're going to get a look here. This is a great pass from Cody Wyman as they started to bunch back up at the front. Lamandri Jr. looks like he concedes that position pretty nicely. And as they come down the hill from this right to the left, you're going to see the front end of that motorcycle of Cody Wyman right there. Look at the tuck underneath him, Greg. But he did a really good job of getting himself back up as quickly as he can.
Slow corners, Jason. It's always those slow corners. So for Yakov, last time by, she went 153.592. Jay, she qualified at a 140.54.1. So Yakov is trying to pull the pin right now and break away, even though Rodeo is not really in competition for the race win in terms of if he passes her, because Yakov's going to do that. The question is, does she even know that? And at this point, Jay, we've seen her race all season long, even from last year. All she wants to do is be the first to the checkered flag, no matter who's doing what. Coming up on 5.5 laps to go in SportbikeTrackGear Junior Cup race number 2 here from the Ridge. 15-year-old Yakov leads the way after setting the fastest lap of the race last time by the stripe at a 153.592.
Look
in
at the
second
gap
spot.
she's pulled though on Lamandri.
I know.
Like you said, she's just pulling it. She's pulling the field apart here, and she goes 53.8 again to a 54.2. Lamandri Jr. loses 0.4. She's 1.4 seconds up now. For her, as soon as that team puts a +1 on the board, she's going to know that it's Gus behind her. She has incredible race IQ, and she's going to know what's going on around her, hopefully, and she's going to realize that, okay, I'm +1.4. That means it's going to be against somebody other than Gus. As we go a little bit further back, we're going to see Avery Dreyer and Chase Black. These guys right now are running 5th and 6th place. So Gus Rodeo's done enough to pull out a big enough gap right now where he's 4th. These guys are battling over 5th.
So Yakov, Lamandri Jr., and Max Van. Again, if you're just tuning in and watching this race, the rider on your screen who's in second, the 96 of Gus Rodeo, listed as 4th for a reason. 5-second jump start penalty as he keeps reeling in Yakov as she's looking for her first race win.
And sometimes, Greg, when you come down that front straightaway, if you're Kayla, you're going to see Gus Rodeo's board up over the top as well. And his board might say P4. And so she's going to start to piece this together. Looking at the splits right now, she's got 37.4. Lamandri's at a 37.3. Right now, Max Van did the fastest first split, other than Gus Rodeo, who's right there behind Kayla. So she's still trying to open that gap on Joe Lamandri right here on the second sector. Lamandri's kind of responded back a little bit and not let her get away.
Coming down the hill at the Ridge, Yakov continues to lead the way. We have 4.5 laps to go in SportbikeTrackGear.com race number 2. She's being hounded and pushed by Gus Rodeo, who's second on the racetrack, but 4th in timing and scoring. Cody Wyman remounted in 10th. That has championship implications. And I'm going to tell you something. Gus Rodeo leads this championship over, or Cody Wyman leads it over Gus Rodeo by 5 points. So the fact that Rodeo's in 4th and just does the fastest lap of the race, a 53.579 for Rodeo, as he has a look over his shoulder. This is the Yakov show in terms of race winning. The 15-year-old is putting on quite a show. And Jason, the biggest thing I see for Yakov and the Altus Motorsports bike is The rear tire seems much more planted today than it has all weekend long.
It does, and the transition, Greg, from the chicane to your point yesterday, I saw the bike moving a lot from left to right. So the thing is exactly what I'm seeing. That team must have maybe made a small change overnight and made that bike better for her, Hannah.
Jason, you're absolutely right. To your credit, you know, she did say she's been battling setup all weekend, and they did make some changes for the race, so she's got some more stability so that she is able to push harder. Conditions are a little bit warmer out here right now than we saw yesterday, and she knew it was going to be greasy. She said it's ultimately going to come down to who can manage these conditions better, and she's counting on that person being her.
Yeah, that's great, and I think that, you know, when you have an experienced team around you, it really pays big dividends. And you know, I could tell how unhappy she was yesterday. This girl, when she's in the paddock, she's always smiling. She's super personable. We'll come up and speak with you, but when you talk racing with her, she's very serious. She understands what's going on with the motorcycle. She understands what her job is. So she goes out there and just gets her head down and goes. Now, keep in mind, Greg, our points leader today on that graph that we showed at the beginning of the show, she was 22 points back. With Cody Wyman right now finishing in 10th, if the race ended the way it is, he'd only get 6 points. She would get 25. That's 19 points difference. So this is going to put that person, meaning Kayla, who is 5th in the championship, if she can continue to perform the way she is right now, this is a big, big win for her in the points, not only just if she was able to win the race. Here comes Gus Rodeo, though. He's going to have a look down the inside as they come into the chicane.
Gus Rodeo on the straightaway into the chicane. Didn't look like he got the run. Gus Rodeo, of course, Jason, we've seen him in this class for a few years now.
But she's so good on the brakes, like you said earlier.
She's great on the brakes. Plus, Gus Rodeo's had that growth spurt that we've seen. He's much taller, but Gus Rodeo goes 153.4, and he's putting enough distance between himself and his competitors back there in 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the racetrack that he's moved himself up into 3rd overall, and that's what you're seeing on the left part of your screen as Gus Rodeo. This is where things get really interesting, because if you're Gus Rodeo, if you're Kayla Yakov, it's like, oh man, you're racing for it, but are you really racing for the lead? You have, in order for Gus Rodeo to win this thing, he's got to go at least 5 seconds ahead of Kayla Yakov in the next couple laps.
If you tell Gus that he had a 5-second penalty and he's still going to end up on the podium, he would be ecstatic with that. We'll find out what ended up happening. Now, the thing we can't count out is that 62. Joe Lamandri Jr. always shows pretty good pace at the end, and Greg, right now, he's already reeled the leader in 3/10 in the first split. So Lamandri Jr. right now is looking to try to do his fastest lap of the race. This is a young man that we knew was going to start winning races last year, and we were hoping that he'd get more national races in the future. This year he's doing it. He's put in a good podium streak together. In the second split, he has closed in another 10th. So just in this lap alone, 0.4 of a second has Lamandri closed in. So that lead's only going to be around 1 second when they come across the finish line if he continues this pace with still 2 laps to go.
The amount of pressure that Kayla Yakov is under right now and the way she's handling is impressive. Now the question becomes Lamandri Jr. Bazooka Joe is starting to put the push on a little bit wide there.
Yeah, he is.
But he's starting to put the push on he did with 3 laps to go in yesterday's race. It was about this time of the race with 2 to go that Gus Rodeo had a 2-second lead over Lamandri Jr. And Lamandri Jr. was able to get himself lap after lap, fastest lap of the race, and close it down within 2/10. And he goes again, Jay. 153.201, fastest lap of the race by the 62 on the SportbikeTrackGear.com Kawasaki. Gus Rodeo trying to figure out where he is in the mix.
He's going to get on the back of them by the end of this lap, no question. The biggest thing I think that Kayla has going for her right now, obviously clear track in front unless Gus Rodeo tries to go up underneath her as they get down into turn 6. They're going to protect in that left side a little bit down there, Greg. There was no room for Gus to do that. The thing is Lamandri Jr. is going to have to get through Gus Rodeo in order to get to her. Now we've got about a lap and a half to go. That might prove to be a little bit difficult, especially as good as Kayla is under braking as they come down into this turn 8 area. Lamandri Jr. again closes up another 0.3 of a second in that first split. 37.3 to a 37.0. And Lamandri Jr., when they come across for the white flag, Greg, he's going to be, I believe, right on the back of these two.
Lap and a half to go. Race number 2, SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. This is the battle for the lead. Kayla Yakov looking for a win. Gus Rodeo second on the racetrack, 3rd in our timing screens after getting 5 seconds added to his race time because of a jump start penalty. So Joe Lamandri Jr., 62, who's 3rd in your screen, is actually 2nd after setting the fastest lap of the race. As we go, getting closer and closer to that white flag final lap. Yakov has been under pressure the entire race and has handled it with absolute perfection.
Yeah, she's going to see this white flag, and it should be a pretty big motivation for her in the sense that she knows that her first national victory is right in her sights now, Greg. That white flag, you're going to see it on the left-hand side of our screen. By the way, our points leader, Cody Wyman, has got himself up into 8th, and he's only a 10th of a second behind 7th, so he is still trying to scramble and get those championship points. That last time through, all of your first 3 runners are in the 57.5, 53.7 range. So Kayla right now needs to do the lap of her life to try to keep these 2 behind her.
We still have about 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this lap, so don't hold your breath just yet. Don't want you passing out watching this race, but we know your heart is thumping, because can Kayla Yakov hold off the advances of Gus Rodeo? Rodeo gets a great drive, and they nearly touch. They do touch. So a couple elbows thrown. Kayla's not giving up any room. Rodeo trying up the inside.
Good for her. She just shut the door there on Gus as they came down that straightaway. And really, at this point, right now, Lamandri Jr. is hoping that Gus Rodeo can go through, because I'm sure all of these have played this situation out and know what the situation is. Let's go back to Atlanta. This young lady came down into turn 10 on the final lap, Greg, and outbroke everybody. Then she had the race stripped away from her because of passing under a waving yellow. Right now, she's doing everything she can, and this is what she needs. She needs Lamandri and Gus Rodeo to engage themselves a little bit here. Lamandri Jr. looks to go up underneath Gus Rodeo. Can't make that happen. She's legitimately got to defend in one more corner, Greg. Turn 13. You can see Gus Rodeo looks back and sees Lamandri there.
So Kayla Yakov trying to do what only Elena Myers has ever done in U.S. road racing history and be the second woman to win a professional motorcycle race. All the while, she's got 2 hungry riders behind her trying to figure out how to get around the 31. Kayla Yakov, a couple corners to navigate now. Really difficult to pass. Trying to keep it nice and tidy, and then it's going to be the big run to the checkered flag. 1 more corner to go. Here comes Yakov onto the front straightaway, deep behind the bubble. Her competition trying to figure out a way around, but Yakov comes to the line. The checkered flag flies, and she wins by 0.4 of a second as the Altus Motorsports Racing Team celebrates Yakov. After disappointment earlier on in the season at Road Atlanta, after she took the checkered flag first and was relegated back on the podium, now will stand on top of the box. And here is your points leader, Wyman, who's got to get 7th place. That is going to shake the points up. He's definitely not going to be the points leader after this one. Gus Rodeo ends up in 3rd. As you can see left part of your screen, that's 16 points. Wyman is going to be 9th. So Jay, that's 7 points difference, and it was 5 coming in.
Yeah, we've got a real championship battle here now, because with what this young lady just did right now, Greg, getting those 25 points to the 9 points that Cody got today. Hey, hats off to Cody Wyman, by the way. That was really an effort to get that bike picked back up off the deck, get going again, especially after doing the race prior. And but man, I can hardly wait to hear from her. And she's doing some good riding for us.
She is, Jake Gagne style. Kayla messing around after a big victory.
And this is going to be popular throughout the whole paddock. I mean, you watch this winner's podium right now. There's going to be a bunch of people going to be down there congratulating this Altus team and this young lady for a tremendous job.
What a win. Under pressure from yesterday's race winner Rodeo the entire session. Jay, look at this.
Yeah, Gus got a really good run there out of turn 4. This is the first point of contact. They kind of touched there. And then he tries to give her a little elbow, and she did not budge. She's like, I'm getting this one. And she wants to win this one outright. She didn't want to let Gus win and then still be credited with a win. She wanted to get it the way she did it, and we all knew it was going to come. We all thought it was going to come even after Atlanta, as heartbroken as everybody seemed to be for that one, as were we, but she did it here at the Ridge, Greg. Outstanding
run by Kayla Yakov. We knew it was coming, and she does it.
On her birthday.
Yeah, birthday weekend.
Yeah,
birthday weekend. What a way to celebrate your 15th here in Shelton, Washington. When we come back, we're going to talk to Kayla and find out how she managed that incredible pressure to win her first. Well, always a little bit of drama when the racing is so close in that SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup division. Kayla Yakov, we thought we saw this in Atlanta with a victory lap celebration, but the win was taken away because it turned out the pass she made for the lead there happened with waving yellow flags, and the rules are you can't pass through that section. This time, she takes the win and didn't need the last lap heroics to get it done. She led from the front.
Yep, and you know, they're not going to be able to take this one away. She earned it, and I'm just so happy that she crossed the finish line and knows that she won the race instead of crossing the finish line in second, then finding out she wins the race when she gets to the podium. Because, you know, like I was telling you off air, the greatest thing about winning is the cool down lap. You know, that adrenaline you get as soon as you cross the finish line, knowing that you beat everybody. So that was that's cool for her, and I'm glad it worked out like that. But Gus didn't make it easy on her.
Yeah, because Rodeo was serving a 5-second penalty with the false start. So even if he had crossed the line in front of her, if it was less than a 5-second lead, she would have won anyway. But we don't know if she knew any of that. And just like Jason and Greg said on the broadcast, you knew this was going to be popular. First of all, high fives from tons of top riders down pit lane and now into the podium area. This is very, very big for the sport.
Yeah, and it's cool to see her dad right there in the blue shirt. It's awesome to see him here able to enjoy that with her, because he has spent so much time and energy on her career. I helped work with her a little bit one time on the mini cup stuff, and you know, her dad drives across the country, taking her all over racing. So it's awesome to see him here and them able to enjoy that together.
Yes, this is her dream. They're out of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, to come all the way out here to Washington to get this elusive win. Hard to believe we could say it's elusive. She only turned old enough to race this class a year ago, but she has been in contention for these victories ever since her very first weekend. Finally put it together, and this is big for the sport. That's for Dylan. I believe that's for her brother, and this is going to be emotional, as it was in Atlanta. We'll get to the podium celebration here in just a minute. You're watching MotoAmerica Live Plus. Congrats to Kayla Yakov.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
Celebration in winner's circle for Kayla Yakov coming in. Her dad on the right, talking to her, giving her a little pep talk. This is a first of many. Let's take a look at the results, see how it panned out even with the long lap penalty. So Kayla Yakov wins by 0.4 of a second over Bazooka Joe. Gus Rodeo, you can see 5.0 seconds there. So he's in third. Max Van and Avery Dreyer. Let's get right down to Hannah and find out how Kayla handled the pressure.
Greg, it's a full circle moment for Kayla Yakov, who made her debut at this round last year. Now with your birthday Friday, a podium yesterday, and your career first victory. How are you feeling right now, Kayla?
What a relief, man. You know, after Atlanta, it was a bit discouraging, and you know, to be back up here, get my second first win is really cool. So yeah, I'm happy to be up here. I'm really stoked. Again, I just want to say this year's for my brother Dylan. I'm so glad I was able to do it again this year. You know, this one's totally for him. But yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do it without my whole Altus Motorsports crew for giving me this opportunity. It was a great race. I just have to thank everyone who's helped me out. Dragonfly Coffee Roasters, Edge Designs, WPS Fly Racing, Heron Compound, Josh Heron and Heron Compound, Stoney and Rocco Landers for the help this weekend, and just everyone for helping me out. This is amazing.
Big congratulations to our STG Junior Cup race winner, Kayla Yakov.
Well, Jason, what are you going to do? All the pressure, handled it with perfection and comes away with her second first place.
Her second first place. But that's really well said. And I think that you know, you saw Cody Wyman congratulating her and seeing how happy he was for her as well. So everybody's going to be happy. Hannah?
Second place today goes to Joe Lamandri Jr. Joe, a double podium weekend for you despite feeling under the weather. How'd you get the job done?
Woke up this morning feeling worse than yesterday, so you know, going out and warm up, it was kind of hard. I couldn't even breathe on the track, but Honestly, you know, I give a huge shout out to Kayla Yakov and Gus Rodeo. They ran an amazing race. I'm happy Kayla got her first official win. She deserved it. But, you know, I got to give a huge thank you to SportbikeTrackGear, Boss Racing, CyberSafe Solutions, RST Moto, MotoAmerica's, NJ Mini GP, Evolve GT Track Days, Uda Torres Racing, Bob Robbins, and just everyone else who came here to support. And I'm excited for Laguna, another new track to me, but we're ready to learn it and hopefully end up back here again over in the front.
Congrats, Joe. Thanks, guys.
All right, yeah, Joe's on. He's arrived, okay, and Joe's got that mindset. He is in race win mode as well, and we're going to see these battles all the way down to the end of the season here in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Let's get right back down to Hannah.
Third place today goes to Gus Rodeo. Now, Gus, definitely some adversity against you with the jump start penalty. What was your awareness of the situation, and how did that change your approach to the race?
Well, yeah, I knew right away. Just rolling off the start, it's never what you want to do, and I wanted to give up some positions, but then I was like, no, we're going to put it back in race mode and deal with that 5-second penalty. But like, even with the penalty, I had nothing for Kayla on the last lap. She was absolutely ripping the whole race. So even without the penalty, I still wouldn't be in first place. So congrats to her, congrats to Joe for riding a good race. And thank you to all my sponsors, Luckstar VIP, NJ Mini GP, Geoscape Solar, Red Mist Racing, HJC, Cathedral, Martin, Rodeo Racing, Uncle Dude. Just we had a fried clutch this morning, and he got it all worked out for me. So thank you, everybody, and we're looking to be back on the top step soon.
Congrats, Gus. Guys.
1 point the difference between Wyman and Lamandri Jr. Kayla Yakov now in third. Impressive. It is so tight heading to Laguna Seca next time we do that. All right, well, that's our race. For Hannah and Jason, I'm Greg. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you in a couple weeks in Monterey.